Hey guys, welcome to this installation video. Here I'm going to show you how the bike looks like with our most complete kit, which is the electronic power pedal kit version 3.0. Here we see the new version 3.0 left side bracket. It's a one single part and it's much stronger here on the side stand fixing point. We also have, these are the Mesic 89mm cranks, our pedals. Here you can see the freewheel, the split sprocket, and we also have the 3-position switch for our electronic pedal assist kit. So here I'm going to show you how to install each one of these kits. These are the parts and tools you'll need to install your new electronic power pedal kit. Right bracket. This is our new version 3.0 left side bracket, which is a one single piece. So it has much more strength here at the side stand fixing point. Our new spindle, which has flat surfaces at a 90-degree angle. Right hand nut, washer, collar, washer, left hand nut. These are the Mesic cranks, 89mm. These ones are the ones I like the most because they are much more stronger and give you very good ground clearance. Type 1 pedals, the electronic assist kit, which has the controller, 3-position switch and pedal sensor, and also the new version of the sensor holding bracket, 34 link chain, split sprocket, freewheel hub with the freewheel. This is a torque wrench, which is not necessary, but I recommend it. Adapter, 6mm hex wrench or bit, 5mm hex wrench, 4mm, 3mm, 2.5mm hex wrench, spanner wrench, screwdriver, ratchet, 14mm socket wrench, adapter, and bit holder. To disassemble the split sprocket, please take your 3mm Allen wrench, remove the screws on both sides. Also this prisoner or set screw. Take it out until it doesn't touch the inner part of the split sprocket. Then remove the other screw. Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, so first you'll want to set loose the bolts that hold your left side bracket. Then you can use your power tool to remove the screws. Okay. Afterwards, here's the side stand position sensor. You'll want to screw it off. Actually, I don't have it installed on my SUR-RON because sometimes it will cut the power off when it gets wet, so I removed it. But just in case you wanna still keep it on your bike, you'll just want to screw it off. Okay, first step done. Then repeat on the other side. Set loose the bolts. Now let's disassemble the other side. Okay, so now let's continue with what's perhaps the trickiest part to disassemble. Then you take the stand and put it to the down position. Okay, just like this. Then you take a screwdriver from this point to this point so that you can do some lever, and you start pulling the spring off. Now it's off. So now we have to remove the side stand from the side bracket and this pin also, because we need to assemble it on your new Kaniwaba pedal kit. So to remove the side stand, it uses a 12mm socket wrench, or you can use this spanner wrench also. Right. Now to remove the screw, you use a 6mm bit. Remember to keep the screw. When you take the side stand off, there's also a flat washer here that you want to keep also. So now we have to remove your side stand. And finally, we need to remove this pin for the spring from the side bracket. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we take our left side bracket, our new part, and get the spring pin, spring holding pin, and put it into this thread of the left side bracket. So we can start by hand. And then we can finish with this spanner wrench. Just make sure it's down to the end and tight. Here's our first step. Now that we have installed the side stand screw, we put it at a 90-degree angle, get the spring, put the short hook on the pin that's on the left bracket, and then use our screwdriver to do some lever to get this hook on the side stand pin. So we just do like this, a small lever, and that's it. We now have our side stand installed onto the left bracket. Now we're going to install the left side bracket. Make sure if you're going to install the side stand sensor that you reroute this cable so you can have a cable long enough. I don't recommend installing this sensor because sometimes when it gets wet it starts to cut the power off, so I don't like it. Okay, first thing, we get the left side bracket, put it onto the frame, use one screw to hold it. Then we get the second screw and put blue Loctite 242 on it, like this, not too much on the tip. Then you start tightening with your hand. Then you get again the first screw, put blue Loctite, and start tightening it down. I like to start the thread with my hands so I won't damage the thread because this is steel and the frame's aluminum. And then I like to use my power tool. We'll fix the torque later. Okay, now we have our left side bracket installed. Now we're going to fix the induction sensor. Okay, now you get one tie wrap. Start it. Put the side stand down. Make sure that this nut, it's in the middle of the two guides. Then put one tab in, make sure it goes into the guide, to the first guide, tighten it down. Then you take the second one, pass it through here, make sure it's in front of the nut. Okay. Flush the sensor against the side stand and tighten the tie wraps. Now lift the side stand, tighten the tie wraps. 1 and 2. Okay, and now we cut the excess of the second one. And that's it. We have our sensor there, and it flushes against the side stand, so now it'll work. And we have the left bracket completely installed. Now take the spindle, make sure the short side after the flat spot, it's on the right side, the long part, it's the left side, and put it into the left side bracket until they're more or less. Now let's put the left crank and pedal on. Now take your left crank, make sure it's the one that's flat, it doesn't have any dent. Just put it on the spindle, put the washer on, and put the left side nut on. It's a left hand threaded nut, so just put on some Loctite. This is important so it won't become loose afterwards. Some people have lost their left nuts because they get loose. Then you get your ratchet. Remember, it's a left hand threaded nut, so it will tighten counterclockwise. Okay, now the pedal. These pedals have a letter here, it says L. So this one goes on the left side crank and it tightens counterclockwise. Then we can just finish with the 6mm hex wrench from the back. And we tighten it. Okay, now we have our left cranks and pedals installed. Okay, now the final touch, it's to tighten properly the bolts on the left bracket. So please set your torque wrench to 25 Newton meter or 220 inch-pound. Okay, so we start tightening. There it clicked. Now the other one. Perfect. We're all set with this left side bracket. To install this split sprocket, you'll need to remove this plastic guard. It has one screw here and two screws here on this side. You can see one here and then the other one up here. It's a little bit annoying because the space is tight. So to take this plastic guard out, you need to
twist it, move it in several directions. First thing, yeah, we need it to push here, and then you can take it out. To install the split sprocket with this part, the one that doesn't have the prisoner or set screw, flush it against the jack shaft. Then take the other part, flush it against the jack shaft also, and have them match together. Then take the screw and your power tool and try to tighten them together. Okay, now we have one side. Now turn the wheel and let's tighten down the other side. Take the screw, power tool, if it doesn't match, you need to loosen this side a little bit. Now tighten on this side also. You need to close the gaps. Now we tighten by hand to close the gaps between both halves. It doesn't need to be totally closed, but it's good to have them as close together as possible. Now let's see how the gap is on the other side. A little bit. The gap is almost gone. I think that's okay. More than okay. And now we tighten the set screw or prisoner screw. One last torque. Okay, and we are done installing the split screw. Split sprocket, sorry. To install the electronic power pedal kit, first you put one collar in, flush it against the bearing. Then you put the freewheel in. Make sure the screws are facing the right side of the bike. It's a safety feature. If for whatever reason the freewheel should lock, it will unlock, it will unscrew from the hub and nothing will happen. If you install it on the opposite side, then if the freewheel locks, the pedals will start spinning like crazy. It hasn't happened, but it's just a safety feature. Okay, put the freewheel in. Now take a pen, make some marks in front of the half of the flat spots on the middle. This will work as our guide afterwards when we're aligning the chain. Then you need to put the pedal assist sensor on the spindle. Okay, some people have asked me how much waterproof the sensor is, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put it in water, and now I'm gonna install it on the bike. So there's a trick to install the sensor. It's a little bit difficult. So what you need to do is, it needs to be facing the right side. I mean, this, like this dents have to be facing the right side of the bike. So you push it into the spindle, and then you're gonna start rotating it counterclockwise until the left crank hits the side stand, so it stays still. And then you're gonna push it, and at the same time you're gonna turn it. And now it's in. Make sure the dents are facing the right side, and it's a little bit tricky. You just push it on the spindle. You can use some water to make the sensor go in easier. You'll just have to spin it and push, spin it and push until it goes on. Okay, and you just push it here. Okay, so now take your sensor position bracket, flush it against the frame, and make sure the sensor is in a position where it has some slack. There's okay. Now you hold it there, put the collar onto the spindle, then take the right bracket, put it on, and make sure the sensor positioning bracket it's also there. Now take one screw, get blue Loctite, put on a little bit, put the screw on, then take the second screw, put on some Loctite, put it on, now take our power tool, tighten the screws. Okay, the other one. Okay, now we put on the right crank, make sure it's 180 degrees from the other crank. Now let's take the washer, put it on. Now the right nut, put on some Loctite. Okay. Tighten it. Okay. Now we need to check the gap between the cranks and the side bracket. Here it's too big. Here it's very tight, so we take a rubber mallet or similar, and then you just center the spindle so you have enough gap on both sides. Here it's okay, and now here it's okay also. So now we need to set the colors to stop the spindle from moving actually on this direction. Okay, so now we take our Allen wrench, fix this color first. There, it's tight. Now the other one, we can move the freewheel here. Okay, now this will make sure that the spindle doesn't move, and we also need to check that this sensor is not tight. I mean that it has some slack. Okay, when positioning the sensor, you see there it has a wobble, so just try to push it with both hands and make it in a position where it has no wobble, like there. Perfect. So that when you spin the spindle, it will stay in position. Now we're going to align the chain. So we get the chain, the pliers, look for the master link. It's over here. Now we open the link, open the pin. Take the link off, take the master link off. Okay. Now I put the chain over the split sprocket. And over the freewheel. I turn the wheel. And now the chain comes out the other side. Okay, now spin the wheel a little bit more, so we have the chain here. I take the master link to close the chain, put this part, the other link, and now the pin, the open part of the pin must be opposite to movement. So the open part of the pin must be facing downwards. And here we can close it. Okay, now we close the chain. Now we spin the spindle until we can see both flat spots. Okay, they are aligned with both screws, here and here. Let me put this a little bit lower, there, here and here. And then I start spinning the wheel and moving the freewheel hub until you can hear it smooth, and it feels smooth. You need to visually align the freewheel and the split sprocket and then put it into position. Then we're going to tighten down one of the screws. Make sure it's against the flat spot. Okay, there. Spin the wheel rearwards, backwards. Sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more. Now I'm going to turn on the bike and accelerate slowly. Sounds good. And I keep increasing speed. Sounds good. I turn off the bike. I spin it rearwards. Yeah, sounds good. It's well aligned. And then I tighten down the other screw. Now I make sure both screws are completely tightened. And now we need to remove the bash guard on both sides. The screw, we don't need to remove it. I'm gonna remove the screw on the other side. So we lower the bash guard down, and we take this part out, and then we need to remove this plastic guard. Okay, we remove the screw. Perfect. Now on the other side, we remove this screw also. This one I removed. Now we need to remove both of these screws, which have a Phillips head. 1 and 2. Now we take this plastic cover off. Okay, now we have all of these cables exposed. And now we're going to install the 3-position switch. I already took down the lower part, so I like to install it here facing upwards. You can install it facing upwards or downwards. It works either way. Okay, so now I put the lower part here and make it match. Now I get the screw, the wrench, and start tightening it down. Not totally, because it will make it harder to install on the other side. Okay, now it's fixed there. Doesn't have to be too tight. Finished on the other side. Now we're going to route the cable. So we bring the cable through here, put it, pass it through here where all of the other cables are passing by. Make sure not to pull it hard. Okay, now we need to loosen both of these screws. So we can put our 3-position switch cable to the same cable guides. We put it in here. And fix it again. Okay, here, now here. Okay, now let's put the cable in here. Okay, now we have our 3-position cable switch. Here, make sure you take out the throttle switch. You trace it all the way from the throttle. You start here, coming here, here, here. Then you pull. This one's the one that's moving. Here, here, here. So it's this one over here. Pull it, pull it, pull it. And here we can see that it's the same throttle cable. So then you unplug it, okay? Then you get the cable coming from the pedal sensor that was placed here. It's the one that's hanging here. And we put it through the frame and bring it forward here. So now we have it here. This is the cable coming from the pedal sensor. Okay. Now we take our controller. Now we take our pedal controller, get the female with the male with the female, plug our 3-position sensor here, and the cable coming from the pedal sensor here. And we need to test the bike before assembling everything up again. Okay, now we need to test it before building up again. It's fairly easy. We turn the bike on. If you install the side stand sensor, then the side stand sensor will not let you accelerate when the side stands down. Otherwise, you can just lean the bike over the side stand and accelerate. If you do have the side stand sensor installed, what I can do, I mean, there are different ways. You can just ride a little, or we can just put the switch into 0 position, push the front brake, get the rear wheel off the air and accelerate, and there it worked. Now we can finish building up. Okay, so now we can start building up. So we get these things, these cables, and we stash them up here behind the controller cables. Now we get this plastic guard on. the plastic must go behind. Wait. The plastic must go behind the controller bracket. Then we get the Phillips screwdriver. Taking the screw down. Now the other one. No, the other one. The other screw here. Okay, this plastic guard is installed. Now on the other side. Okay, first we need to get all of these cables here behind so that it looks neat. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to install the bash guard. What I like to do is I like to fix the position with a hex wrench. Then I take the screw with my power tool. Okay, we've done here and also down here. Now we go to the other side. Okay, now on this side, same procedure. Use the hex wrench to fix the position of the bash guard. Take the screw already with the power tool. Okay, finished. Now down here. And the last screw, which is here. And we finished.